If you want to learn how to practice your pinyin in two of the most effective ways that I know how to do, and I'm a certified Chinese teacher, then watch to the end of this video because we are going to practice together after I explain to you the two ways to practice pinyin. Where this comes from is yesterday on my weekly coaching or bi-weekly coaching call for the DIY Chinese Challenge. We're on listening, practicing the skill of listening right now, and I was working with a few members live to practice pinyin. There are two ways that can for sure increase how quickly you learn pinyin and how well you remember it, and these are good whether or not you're studying with a book or on your own. Well, you're studying on your own, of course, but with a book or an app. Not a huge fan of apps, but still, these ways work. One way is listening, and one way is speaking. And the key here is that you find a language exchange partner to do these with you so that you work on communication and real listening. Have you ever noticed that the audio in the apps and in the book is not as clear as it could be? Well, how about you have a real life human give you feedback? Let's get into detail right now. If you don't know me, my name is Kuei-jo. If this is your first time meeting me, welcome to the channel. I actually can speak Chinese. Here's a little proof. Real Chinese, communicate and have fun. 那么呢，你在外面怎么练习你的口语呢？基本上是这样子，你得通过模仿别人说的话而来提高你的口语，就这么简单。Okay, so let's get into it. If you have a language exchange partner, and if you don't go get one, then the first way to practice your listening is to, let me share my screen right here, use a pinyin chart. In fact, I'm going to make this a lot bigger. And I'm sure you've seen these. You can just go to Google and Google one, but you've probably been using it wrong. So I want to teach you how to use it the right way. What we're going to do here is zoom in, and you can just pull out your cell phone. I'm streaming from my cell phone. Call up your language exchange partner and do a video chat. You flip your cell phone screen around and leave comments. This is live, so after I explain these two techniques, we're gonna do some pinyin practice together. But you flip your cell phone screen around and you point it at the chart, okay? Because this is working on your listening skills first. In a moment, I'll teach you how to do speaking skills. And what you're going to do is point your camera at the chart. Your language exchange partner can see what you're looking at, and you ask them to pick pinyin sounds that they are looking at. So if you're pointing at the screen, if you're looking at the screen right now, then go ahead and find the sound I'm saying. So if I say mung, you got to point at that on your piece of paper, right? I can't see you, but if you were live studying with your language exchange partner or tutor, they could. And if you pointed at the wrong sound, they would tell you. And if I say tang, can you point at the right sound? Let me zoom in a little bit more. This tests your listening, and it's real life feedback. And that's the key, because you can listen with audio. Yeah, that's great. If you're lucky, you can find good audio on the internets. But there's nothing like your language exchange partner, or in this case me, saying nong, and you have to point at it. Did you point at the right one on the screen? Let me know in the comments. What about te? Did you make it? Okay, that's the first way. Now let's switch it to, and if you're sticking around, then we're gonna practice this together. I'm gonna pick one and you're gonna type one, but if you want to switch it and practice speaking with your language exchange partner, then all you do is you say one and they point. That easy. And you will know right away if they can understand your pinyin, because they're a native speaker, right? So you look at your own screen and, or you send them this little chart. You can find these charts on Google. But the point is you flip your camera around, you say something, and then you see what they're pointing at. So if you say pong, which is, I guess you can't see on screen because you can't see me touching it, dang it. If you say pong though, and they don't point at P-A-N-G, then that means they're not hearing you right. And then you stop and you tweak it until they tell you that what you think you're saying is actually what they are hearing. Aeropod, you got it right, mung tong nong, cool. So that's how you do listening, and that's how you do speaking, and it's a super simple, powerful technique. Now, some people who I coach ask me how long it should take to learn Pinyin. So before we practice together in a moment, and again, thanks for watching. I'm going to say Pinyin and you're going to type it into the comments and see who can do it the quickest. That's our little competition. But what I'm talking about here is this whole video is sponsored by DIY Chinese Challenge. It's my program to help you learn how to effectively self-study so that you can make clear progress, so that you don't have to rely on taking another class in order to improve. This is where the strategy comes from, and if you're just joining it came from a call that we had, one of our coaching calls last evening. So you ready? Here is, you can find out more information about that in the description below this video. So here we go. Those of you that are watching, I will pick Pinyin and say it. You have to type it. We will go from easy to fast. And there's going to be a delay, so I'm going to say Pinyin and then talk my head off while I wait for you to type it. Whoever can type it first, well, you get bragging rights. So here goes. First Pinyin on the screen that I'm going to say and you're going to type into the comments will be meow. There it is. Find the Pinyin meow on the screen and type it. The harder stuff is coming up next, where I will say 2 or 3 things. I said meow. You got to type meow. Not the cat meow, but the Chinese meow. Who's going for it? Iropod, you are like a legit Pinyin typing ninja. Well, I guess ninjas are from Japan. Where are you watching from, by the way? Please tell me, I'm curious. The next one up is, let's go over here to a harder one. Let's make it really big. And I'll just put that on full screen. The next one here is ju. Can you type ju? Which one is ju? Maybe no one else is playing Iropod. I don't know, but you're typing it the quickest. Ju. This is practice. Interact, folks. Which Pinyin is ju? And if you just joined and you're missing the beginning of this video, I taught you 2 really good ways to practice Pinyin. Not Jim, but ju. Iropod has it again. 2 really good ways to practice Pinyin, because a lot of things that I hear from people that I coach in my DIY Chinese Challenge is they want to know how to practice Pinyin the best. Maria Diaz, I'll help you in a moment. And the best way is with a language exchange partner. Of course, just go back and watch the replay. I explained 2 really good methods. Now we're doing listening, but I also taught you how to do speaking. So if you typed J-U, you are right, Iropod. If you typed J-I-U, that is Gio. Literally G-O, Gio makes the J-I-U sound. Sorry, Maria, but we can practice again in a moment. Iropod, Ju. And somebody asked me, how do you say the U? Well, it's like an E sound. Literally, you say the letter E, like the long vowel E or the letter E in English, but you got to round and pucker your lips. You can't even see me. There it goes. G, but round your lips. G, G, and that is the J-U sound. It's like the umlaut in German, umlaut U. Next one is 2 Pinyin sounds together. I want to say 抢走. 抢走, 抢走. Go ahead and tell me 抢走. What Pinyin is that? Can you type it? It's 2 things you can say on your screen. 抢走, 抢走. 抢走. When you 抢 something, it's like the little kid at school has the thing you want. So you take it away from them. That's 抢走. Because 走 is like to go away, and 抢 is to like 抢东西, like to grab things, to snatch things. 抢走. Look at that, my cap flew off. But did you get the right Pinyin? 抢走. Try again, Maria. You can get it. It's 抢, 抢, and then 走. 抢走, 抢走. Maria, here's what you said. 天, or in the same tones, 天走 is what you typed, Maria. But I want you to find 抢走. And this is how you practice listening. If you're just joining, do this with your language exchange partner. If you don't have a language exchange partner yet, I'm giving you like the best advice I have for free now. Speed up your Chinese learning by getting a language exchange partner. You can go to places like Hello Talk or Tandem, T-A-N-D-E-M. Or if you already were in China, just message your Chinese acquaintances and be like, I really want to learn Mandarin. Help me, please. Do Pinyin, 抢走. The Q-U-I doesn't exist with the A and G. But the answer is Q-I-A-N-G, and then zao. So kind of right there in the center. Oh, you can see my mouse. Super cool. Qiang is right there. Cool. And zao is not this one. Where did it go? It was there. Where are you at? Oh, yeah, that is it. No, it's not. Where's Z-U-O at? Z-O-U, A-B-C-D-E-F-G-H-I-J-K, L-M-N-O. There's O right there. Qiangzhou. Cool. 2 more sounds, and we'll keep it over on this side of the screen. But do this with your Chinese language exchange partner. I'm thinking of 2 sounds like, ooh, I gotta go on for you. What about ning? Ning. Ning. It's 1 sound. It should be easy. Ning. You know what I don't like about books? They teach you all this, well, not useless vocabulary, but things that you don't use in real life. If you never heard of the verb ning, anytime you have a cap or a top on something that twists off, that is called ning. And so this is the action of ning, 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 ning till it's off. And if it's like soda, you can drink it or whatever. Or in this case, it's gel because #pandemic, stay safe. Ning. Does anybody know that pinyin? And if you like this, if I'm helping you, please like this video. That helps my channel. That helps the videos reach more people. If you never heard of Ning Aeropod, that is okay, because most books don't teach the kind of words that you use in real life a lot. It's just the truth. I never really heard of Ning either until I lived in China, and I was in China for like 13 years. But this action is Ning. Twisting something is Ning, and anytime you're opening a cap or something that screws off, it's Ning. Did anybody type it? No, I typed it. You did, Aeropod. You win. You haven't told me where you're watching from, though. I'm super curious. Queen Film Knowledge says Ju. Like, Ju is not Ning. But type more. Maybe I misunderstood you. All right, next one is Nang. What is the pinyin for Nang? And if you're just joining, we're practicing listening practice, okay? I'm giving you a super effective way to practice your listening. You can do this with your language exchange partner. Find the pinyin on the screen over here that is Nang and type it. So in this scenario, with your language exchange partner or tutor, you are looking at the chart. You have your cell phone out, you're video chatting, you flip your camera around. So, and you have your language exchange partner say one of the pinyins that they see. And then you have to point at that. And if you point at the right one, they'll tell you. If you don't point at the right one, that's even better for your learning, because now you know that you're not hearing what they're saying, and you let them say it again. Cool? And it's a really good way to practice. This is how I coach people inside of my DIY Chinese Challenge. That's who's sponsoring the video. Did anybody get Nam? 2 people did. Droxity Productions and Aeropod. Very cool. Next one is 2 pinyins in a row, and that would be Deng Pao. Deng Pao. Go ahead and type that. Deng Pao. What am I saying? Deng Pao. And so if you want to practice your speaking Deng Pao, then with your language exchange partner, again, you say the pinyin, you send them this little chart. You can find it on Google, right? You send them you say the pinyin, and you flip your camera around so you can see what they're pointing at. Then they have to point at what you say, and that is the best speaking practice I've ever seen, because it's instant feedback. Deng Pao, you got it. Droxity, all right. Aeropod, cool. Because if they point at different pinyin than you're saying, then you are forced to begin tweaking what you are saying until they can hear and understand you. It's amazing. Somebody inside of my DIY Chinese Challenge was asking me about how long should you take to learn and master pinyin. Please hear me out on this. Practice and master pinyin right away, because otherwise you're always going to question yourself. And that will hurt the speed that you improve at, because you won't ever really know what you're hearing or what you're saying. I just like to share with you real practical ways to learn. This video is sponsored by the DIY Chinese Challenge. That is my program to help you learn how to effectively self-study so that you can make clear progress always on your own, and you never have to rely for a class Again, it is application only. There are limited spots. Link in the description below if you want to apply. Let's do some more pinyin practice. What about the pinyin luo bin? Luo bin, luo bin. What is luo bin? Both pinyin are on the screen. Who can type it the quickest? You couldn't hear the G in non, Queen Film Knowledge, you say. That's because the G, first of all, I lived in the north of China for the longest. And instead of pronouncing like nang, super clear, like nang is fine. And anybody who's here is Chinese and you're watching, cool, sweet, back me up. But in the north of China, they tend to do what's called like swallowing the last vowel sound or the last consonant sound, which means it's not super pronounced super clearly. So instead of nang with a clear G, you'll hear nang or nong. And that's just kind of how the accent goes in the north of China. If you don't hear like that, then find a language exchange partner from the north of China and start learning with them. Where are you guys watching from? Droxity and Irapod, you got it right. Luobin, what about... I'm trying to make a real word, but alas, I can't. So what about Tiaoying? What about Tiaoying? Tiaoying, can you get that one? And then we're going to three pinyins together. Tiaoying, Tiaoying. Who is going to say it right? Tiaoying, Tiaoying. You're on your laptop, LOL. Cool. I didn't mean what device are you watching from? I mean, where in the world are you watching from? Do you know where I'm at right now? I'm sorry if I haven't shared with you, but I no longer live in China. Tiaoying. Where am I at in the world right now? And I am not in the US where I'm from. Tiaoying. I am almost permanently residing in another country. Tiaoying. Who else can get it right on, you guys? Your opinion's on point. Let's fast forward to something a little harder, huh? 3 pinyin sounds. Here we go. What about... Oh, what about shou piao chu? Shou piao chu. Shou piao chu. Shou piao chu. Can you get that one? Shou piao chu. Let me minus this out so you can see all the pinyins. I don't know what the plural of pinyin is, but I'm just gonna say pinyins. Shou piao chu. Shou piao chu. 现在 I can't read. Oh, stop. Stop. That's a Michigan. Oh, really? My wife is from Michigan. She's from, oh, geez, now I look like a bad husband. Romeo. And I'm going there in 6 weeks. That's where she's from. Shou piao chu. Irapod, what are you doing here? You're already fluent, I guess. Tell me what you struggle with on the moment. And Maria Diaz, it's okay. Hard for you on the phone. I hear you. Yeah, what do you struggle with? In a moment, I'll answer any questions before I say goodbye. But shou piao chu is the right one. That is the place where you, hey, ganatra. Good guess too. The shou piao chu is the place, it's the ticket booth at the train station. Because shou means receive, the piao is a, there, I'll just type it for you, okay? I am not super good at typing and talking. I do apologize, but it's right there for you. Shou piao chu. Let's go Dieterlieu. We fly into Dieterlieu and then we drive like an hour north to Romeo. I don't know a lot about Michigan, and I've never been to Dieterlieu except for the airport. But nobody knows I'm in Mexico right now. Next one. Oh, here's an easy one. Ping pong qiu. Ping pong qiu. For sure, I can say the difference between ceng and zeng. And if you're watching live right now, we are practicing pinyin. And I told you at the beginning of this live stream, go back and catch the replay. It will be up. The 2 best ways I know to improve your pinyin the quickest. No hype, super effective. You need a language exchange partner. I highly recommend, please do not make the mistake I made. Ping pong qiu is the pinyin. Don't make the mistake I made in the beginning when I learned Mandarin for 1 whole year and I never talked to a Chinese person. Bad mistake. But if you study your pinyin with a Chinese person and you're just starting out, this can very quickly accelerate your learning. Ni hao ishita 192, or I guess maybe it's ishita itor. Next pinyin is, what if I say diao niao wo? Diao niao wo. I'm just making up stuff. Diao niao wo. Diao niao wo. Can you type tones? Do you guys know how to type tones with your keyboard? Maybe I should make a video on that. Actually, true story, I did 2 years ago, right before I got stuck out of China. And it's just, that video is just sitting unedited on my hard drive. Diao niao wo. A niao wo, by the way, is a bird's nest. And diao means to like something that's falling down. Of course, I'm not saying it right. Like maybe you would say niao wo diao le, like the bird's nest fell down, or diao xialai le. But at any rate, ping pong show character typing skills right there. Droxity from Detroit, Ditolu, you got it. 现在在荷兰. True story. Miriam, who is a lady that joined my DIY Chinese challenge like 3 weeks ago, and that's what's sponsoring this video, by the way. You can find more information about it in the descriptions below, but it's my program where I help people learn Chinese effectively, like self-studying on their own, so they never need a class again. This lady named Miriam, she's from the Netherlands, or Helan, and she works in Benin, West Africa, right by Togo, right by Ghana, right? Or is it Benin or Benin? I don't know. Right by Burkina Faso. And so anyway, cool. Netherlands are tight. I like the Netherlands. Diao niao wo. Diao niao wo. So diao is fourth tone. Niao is third tone. You got it. Droxity Productions. And wo is first tone. Niao wo. That's like a pointless word that you'll probably never, ever need. But diao niao wo. Hey, do you know how to say your computer? Like when your computer glitches, like or freezes? I believe it's ka la. So there's 2 or 3 pinyin sounds for you. Ka la, ka ju, right? And then the la, because it already happened in the past, it is completed now. Your computer is solidly frozen. Ka la. What is that pinyin? Type it in, and yeah. Ask me some questions. Yeah, dian now, when it freezes, it kaju la. This is something I also never learned in a book until I went to China, and people would say that. And then, yeah, before I say goodbye, I can answer some Chinese questions. It's really cool hanging out with you and seeing you. I wish, well, at least seeing you in the chat. I wish you could tell me where you're watching from, but happy that we got Detroit fam here, Netherlands fans here. I am in Mexico, if you didn't know. And if you haven't met me yet, I got stuck out of China. Going on now like a 490 day, 80 day, 90 day. What's half of 365? Something. Well, I'll just say 490 day vacation from China. And I live in Mexico pretty much forever. If you're curious, there's the look outside my window. There is Mexico outside my window. That's everything I look at. You can see it. Not super fancy view, but alas, there it is. It's a rainy day here. And yeah, China allows people back. I got plenty of friends that made it back to China, but it's super hard. Actually, if you go to Blondie in China, her YouTube channel, or maybe her Instagram, Amy, Blondie in China, she's cool. We did a collab before. She's kind of chronicling how she got back to China. Right now, she's in quarantine, 2-week quarantine. She's almost done with it. And you can go to her YouTube channel. It's Blondie in China. If you've never seen or heard of her, she's from Australia. She's went back. You can go back to China, but if you want to know, actually, I'll tell you a bit of my story while we do some more pinyin practice, okay? There we go. Kajula. Hey, Marie Diaz, you got it. You got it. Yep. What's I did? Well, hey, Germany. Cool. The edges of the chart are not visible. You are correct. The screen sharing thing is not perfect. But again, you can find any pinyin chart. Just go to Google Images, images.google.com, find it. Okay, I'm doing the next pinyin. And I'm picking, we're just going to do random one. This is not a word at all, but 监痛党, 监痛党, random sounds, 监痛党. Type them if you can, 监痛党, 监痛党. And I'll tell you, so basically, I forgot already what I was going to say. Yeah, China does allow people back. If you got a job, if you get a visa, you can get back to China. Yas, thank you for liking my videos. It's not easy to get back to China, even if you have the job that already has given you the visa. 监痛党, almost there, Droxity, but you missed up on one. 监痛党. So even if you do have a visa to get back to China to work, it's just super hard. Like the regulations right now, I believe, say that you have to fly out of the same city that you have your test in. You know the test. I'm not going to say the type of test, but you know what we're talking about, because I don't want the live stream reach to become decreased and YouTube censors folks. You have to get the test out of the same city you fly out or the same city that your flight originates from. That's also difficult if you live in a place that's not a major city like Detroit or, I don't know, Hamburg. And then you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. And then depending on what city you finally end up in China, you also might need to quarantine again. And it's just difficult. And also, like you're going to be a teacher there. Great. But your dependents, if you got a family or kids, cannot get there with you. At least not right now. As of today, June 4th, Friday, 2021. So if you're a student, good luck. China is not letting students back. Next one, 监痛党. That was the correct one. Gorillapod, your opinion's pretty good and on point. Any more questions about how to say? For example, on the coaching call in my DIY Chinese challenge yesterday, we were looking at these ones right here, bottom right hand of the screen, the JU, the QU, and the XU. I do not like pleco. Most people I know use pleco. I am not a fan of pleco. But I'm not a young spring chicken either. So when I started learning Chinese, there were no apps. And that's probably why I'm not such a big fan of apps. I'm a super fan of finding Chinese people who you can communicate with or connect with and just talking to them. Like I think one of the best benefits of learning Mandarin is just beginning to learn about another culture and meet people that speak that native languagely. Language natively. I'm tired. So JU, QU, and XU, you say that sound like an E. I got you in a second. Chuan and Chuan. You say JU, XU, and QU like an E, meaning you start with the letter E, as in English E, the long vowel E, the letter E on the screen. You say E, hold that out for a long time, E, like that, and slowly but surely round and pucker your lips like this. Just flow with it. I'm not trying to be weird, but pucker your lips kind of like that. E, but still say the letter E, okay? E. That's like the U sound that comes after a J and a Q and an X. Notice you can barely see my teeth when I do, but you can kind of see the top ones. So that's G is JU, right? Q is QU and Shu is XU. And who am I to tell you how to pronounce things if you never really met me before? I lived in China for 13 years. I really like learning Mandarin. I don't like studying grammar, but I'm very good at speaking. Many times calling the Chinese Uber, which is called Didi in China, they would drive past me. Like this one time, it's raining, super heavy. And so I call the Didi, like the Uber, but in China, and actually you hail it with your app, okay? And then they drive past me because I'm looking at the license plate. It's raining. I have my umbrella, but it's that kind of, so I'm like 6'1", 184 centimeters. And so the rain's coming at me sideways. And even with my big golf umbrella, like I'm drenched probably up to like here. And This guy drives past me and I'm waving at him like there aren't many people on the street because it's pouring rain. And he drove past me. So I call him up again. I'm like, you passed me. And then he stops and he's like, I don't see you. And I'm like, I'm behind you. So I'm going through the rain now towards him, like maybe 50 meters, I don't know, 30 meters away. I get to him and I'm like, open the door. Because, you know, black guy outside the DD, like he hesitated. But he opened the door and I'm like, what happened? He's like, I didn't know you were Chinese. Like they usually say the same thing. Like, if I didn't see you, I wouldn't have known you were Chinese. I'm getting animated because I was drenched. And it was a funny story. Cool times. But at any rate, my accent is pretty solid. You can trust it. And if you don't trust it, ask one of your Chinese friends. Ultimately, disclaimer, don't hold me accountable for what I say. Though I will give you good language advice, the best thing you can do is get yourself a Chinese friend, a language exchange partner, and every single thing you learn, if you never watch another one of my videos, just understand every single thing you learn, run it through a real Chinese person and be like, hey, is this what Chinese people really say? Just always ask that. Whatever your book tells you, is this what Chinese people really use? And you'll speed up so quick. I never did that for like 1 whole year when I first studied Mandarin. So greetings from Poland. Hey, Polish fam. Quan and Chuan. So the difference up here between chuan, like that would be like a boat, chuan, right? And then this one is quan. I don't know if that's easy for you to say, but chu and in, almost like saying go in and come out, in and out. So chu plus in equals quan. Cool. Quan. It's like the word for circle. Quan. Quan, 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 quan. Like 画一个圈, right? Circle. But Chuan is chuan. So I guess chuan, you're opening your mouth a little more. It does start with a CH sound. That Q sound is not a CH sound. Super hard to explain on video, so I'll leave that for another time. Or if you decide to apply and join me inside of the DIY Chinese Challenge, we do pronunciation stuff like this all the time. And if you have no idea what that is, literally that's my program to help you study super effective on your own. And what that means is I give you like all the study strategies plus self-study activities that you can do on your own. So you also learn how to plan, like make a very simple self-study plan that's really unbreakable. That way, no matter how crazy life gets, you can still consistently study and be able to clearly see your progress. And that's really what I do. So, okay, you did not know there was such a big difference. Yeah, there is between chuan and quan. Absolutely. The good news for you is I can't really think of any words that have chuan and quan together. And so here's the thing. If you're learning Chinese words, just make sure that you start focusing on words that are used in real life. Again, benefit of having a language exchange partner. If you're just joining, I talked about language exchange partners and the best way to learn Pinyin, speaking and listening with them at the beginning of this video. Watch the replay, please, and thank you for liking, because that does help me as a creator. It's like the best thing you could do ever is share the video and like the video. You ask them what words are useful, okay? Communication starts with the things that you use and need, and it usually is different from what is in your book. So yes, go ahead and use a book, use an app if you choose, but the sooner you can talk to a real person and say like, is this used? Or I want to say this, how do you say this? And you learn words in context, you'll start to get a feeling for the combinations that can happen of Pinyin. And they are, thankfully, even though there's all these different, what am I zooming in? Oh, that's not here. Oops, sorry guys. Even though there's all these Pinyin sounds, they don't all go together. And that is the cool thing of Chinese. Let's see some more questions really here. 你可以用 Hello Talk 主中国朋友 Did you mean 找中国朋友 中国人朋友 Maybe just, so I didn't read what you typed right, because you typed it wrong. I'm your friend. No condemnation. I'm just saying it's Zhao instead of shu. And then zhong, unless that's Zhao in traditional Chinese, disclaimer, I do not read traditional Chinese at all. I learned it for 1 year and then never again. But 中国朋友 is, I'm exaggerating tones, but that's how you say it. 中国人 is a Chinese person. For saying Chinese friend, it's just 中国朋友. Yes, but I like that you type. This is a safe spot, you know? Type whatever you need. 为什么你学了中文? Because I actually have a story about that, City. I started learning Chinese because of a date that I went on with a French girl in Paris. And for the rest of that story, you have to search it. It's somewhere on my YouTube channel, but that is how I started learning Chinese. Super random. Are chu, Q-U, chue, Q-U-E, chun, and chun quite uncommon? I don't know all the words in Mandarin, so I can't tell you that. I can tell you that Q-U-E, I see or have used in speech in day-to-day life when I lived in China often enough. Chue, right? Chu is super common, Q-U, because that's like to go, right? Like wherever you need to go, you use chu. Like, yeah, so that's super common. Like you're going to the doctor, 去看医生, right? 去看医生, 去店, 去商店, like I'm going to the store. 去坐车, like I'm gonna go and take a car. Yeah, 去 super common. 去 is not as common, but that's definitely QUE. It's used often enough. 圈? Not really. Outside of like teaching, maybe like a圈, a circle. On WeChat, which is a Chinese chat app, they have 朋友圈, which is like 朋友 is friend, 圈 is circle. So that's how they describe like WeChat moments. In Chinese, though, it's called 朋友圈, and it's where you can see your friends' updates, kind of like the Facebook feed, if you will. And if you just started watching this live stream and you're like, what is he even talking about? We are here practicing Pinyin. This Pinyin is a chart you can find on Google. It's super simple to find. And at the beginning of this video, I told you 2 good ways to practice speaking and listening with Pinyin that will speed up the way you learn. Other questions? I like hanging out. Thanks for asking questions. Do I think it makes sense to learn Chinese without learning how to write? Absolutely. You probably want to learn how to type characters, though, if you want to communicate with Chinese folks. I would recommend you at least learn how to recognize characters, but actually learning how to handwrite, I think that's overrated. Because of something called kinesthetic learning, which basically means when you learn stuff because you're moving your hand or moving your body and learning, your body's like basically wiring the knowledge that you're learning with the movements. That's why, like, if you ever have been where do kids learn? If you ever been to church and you see kids and they're doing songs, or I guess maybe at summer camp, so I never went to a summer camp. You see little kids doing songs, there's always like a movement, right? You know, like they're climbing up the rope, or they're like, I don't know, whatever. There's a movement because when you put movement to learning, your brain learns better. That's science, just go look it up. So if you learn to write characters by hand, you will be able to learn those better. But there's also different types of learners. Maybe you're not a kinesthetic learner. Maybe movement does not help you as much as somebody else, in which case, cool. So learn to recognize characters for sure, so you can read, because literacy is good. But do you need to learn to write them by hand? Nah, you can just type them on your keyboard, on your phone, or your computer, and you'll be good to go. Especially if you don't care about writing characters, then don't do what does not motivate you. Cool. Another question. Do I think it makes sense to learn? Oh, learning to write takes a lot of time. Yeah, it does take a lot of time, but it's worth it. If you live in China, Chinese respect you so much when you can write characters. 不好意思，我的 what 能力没 I can't read traditional characters though. Sorry, like I really can't. 不好意思，我的写能力 Is that like what you want to say? 没那么好. Hey, I can read from context. I don't know how to read traditional characters. Some of those are traditional characters, yes, but context says 写能力. Don't worry, doesn't matter. Like, it is what it is. You don't need to write a lot, fortunately. So let's do one more pinyin thing. I'm curious if you can get. You guys know what this is called right here? This is a B guy. B guy. Or some people just call it a guides, right? Guides. There it is. Guides. Like, hey, grab me that. Like, give me your pin cap. 你把盖子给我. 你把笔盖给我. So what is the pinyin for 笔盖 or 盖子if you want? Type it into, can you even see? Yeah, you can, super small though. Type it into the chat right now. 笔盖 or 盖子. What do I think about Skritter? I interviewed the CEO of Skritter. I did an extensive interview with him about the best way to learn writing, and it was not a promo show like buy Skritter, buy Skritter. It was a legit, like 20-minute long linguistic conversation about the best ways to write, because that guy has his own story too about how he learned to write. And that interview, a very short video with him is on the YouTube channel. The full interview is inside of my program, DIY Chinese Challenge, where again, I teach, it's who sponsors this video, but I teach you in there how to self-study effectively so you can make clear progress on your own and never need a class again. That information is in the descriptions below. But I like Skritter. I used it for back in 2010. I used it when I was actively leveling up how many characters I knew. My wife used it when we moved to China, probably for 2 years, to help her learn Chinese when she was taking Chinese at a university in Xiamen, south of China, a little island across from Taiwan. So Skritter's good. It's kind of cool that you can write on your phone, obviously, but what you don't know is if you haven't used Skritter before, they have decks in Skritter. So if you like using a deck to learn, like a flashcard deck to learn Chinese Mandarin, then Skritter, hey guys, somebody got it. And what about B Guy? Skritter has decks in there too. So you can use it as like flashcard functionality. Another useful thing about Skritter is they got so many people who have added decks into Skritter that are quality controlled by Skritter. Pretty much whatever book you use, the vocabulary lists will exist as decks inside of Skritter. So that right there is pretty powerful. Obviously, your learning should not only involve one thing. I'm typing elementarychinese.com/Skritter because they gave me a promo code. Disclaimer, I am an affiliate for Skritter, but you go there to that link and I think you get like 20% off. Just go look and use it. And if you do, it supports my channel. Like, this part of like affiliate income, that's how I support my channel. So I appreciate you supporting me in that way. And yeah, Skritter's good. But guess what? If you don't have the money to pay for an app like Skritter, you have a pin and you can write characters in a book. I would go get here, why don't you take a little trip with me as I go over and I get probably the best book that I have for writing. It's in my bookshelf. Welcome to my little office in my Mexican home. You want to see my bookshelf? It's right here. There it is. All the Chinese books. I got this one right here is super good for writing. I don't have a link to it right now, but I reviewed it. It's on my channel. That's good for writing characters. But otherwise, what you can do is any book that you have, just write. And when you write words over individual characters and write sentences over individual words. Basically, the more context that you give your brain when you are learning, the better. Because our brains love just to latch on to extra information in order to learn specific or certain things. So learn in context. 买不起. Well, go to the library. You know, I'm your friend. Okay. There's this quote. Where is this quote at? What is it called? I don't know. It's something like, when we argue for our limitations, they become our reality, or something like that. Or like, don't argue for your limitations. As in, if funds are tight, find yourself a way to go study. Don't let lack of money be the restriction that keeps you from buying something or learning. Head to the public library, sell something. I'm not saying this is you, Irapod, but like, lots of people tell me they don't have money, but then like they got a new pair of shoes, or they got the latest cell phone, you know? So just find a way to get what you need. Go to the library, or just use the internet. There's tons of free, good resources on the internet. I don't have water, and one more question, and I'm going to say goodbye. I always mispronounce O-U, and U-O, like Zhuo and Zhou. So if you see a O-U in Pinyin, then Valentina, hey, what's up? Can't even say your last name. So if you want to say OU, then OU is, who's been watching since the beginning? Irapod, you've been here the whole time? Thank you. Droxy Productions too, thank you. Like, I appreciate it. OU is the O. It's just O, letter O in English. Like how you say the letter O is the sound OU in Chinese, like 95% of the way there. So you'll be totally fine saying that. If you say UO, that's wo instead of O. Wo is like that pinyin chart. Hold on, let me put that back on screen. This pinyin chart, sorry, I don't have water, so my throat is dry. If you say a UO, like a cuo, it's kind of like you start with the wu, but you open up that wu at the end of the sound. Wo is uo. So like luo, like to drop luo, right? Or guo is country. Guo is guo. Like guojia is country. It sounds a little weird when I exaggerate it so much. Listen to more Mandarin, and that will help you. But guo, like Zhongguo is China, right? But go is OU. So GOU, like a little dog, xiao go go, because I have a 2-year-old son, and that's what he says all the time. Because I speak Mandarin to him almost all the time. Go. So GUO is guo, and then GOU is go. O versus wo. That's it. I did read your message, Nicolo. Did I miss it? Oh, it's right there. I'm sorry. Thanks for reminding me. Like, if I don't read what you asked, just ask again. I promise I'm not skipping it. Unless you say, like, super bad things, then I'll ban you from the channel. But otherwise, I just missed your message. Nothing personal. Some tips for HSK4 tomorrow. Tomorrow? I got no tips for you. You want the real tip, Nicolo? Cassini, that's a cool name. The real HSK4 tip is go and get some good sleep tonight and don't stress. You cannot change your performance in one day. Maybe if you stay up super late and cram, then you will get enough into your memory. But me personally, straight up, I never did well cramming for anything. So yeah, just go sleep and chill. Maybe you're in university, maybe because it's finals time at the end of the year, you got a lot of pressure and you need to pass that test. Okay, then like stay up super late, cram, do what you need to do, get it done. You know, I've done that before. But the best way to prepare for the HSK is to start early. I have another video on this. And if you're watching the replay, I will have linked the other video in the descriptions. If you're watching now, it's live, and I'm not that good to link it up right now. But over practice is the best way to learn for HSK. You get yourself one of those booklets that has like 8 sample tests in it, and you take the first test. Cool. Then you find a tutor or a language exchange partner, pay them, or if you have not enough funds to pay them, then I'm glad the stream was super helpful, iRapod. If you don't have enough funds to pay somebody, then do a language exchange, your native language in exchange for their native language, half an hour each, and go through the test first by yourself, mark all of your wrong answers, and then go through every single answer super meticulously within a week's time, and ask them, why is this answer wrong? They're gonna tell you, pay attention, take notes, and then every word in every wrong answer that you do not know, look that word up. Commit it to memory, however you do so. Does that sound tedious? It's super tedious. That's what I did personally, though, when I took the HSK 3 and when I took the HSK 5 and when I took the HSK 7. This was back in the day before HSK was only 6 tests. It had 11 or 10 levels. This will work for you. I call it the Korean study method because when I first went to study abroad in China, I noticed that like many of my Korean friends were going there with 0 Chinese, and they were able to test in to high enough on the HSK to go to university within a year. And that's what they did. So that's what I did, and it works very well. So after you take a test and you mark all your wrong questions and you review why you got those questions wrong and you learn the vocabulary, put it on flashcards for all those wrong questions. You don't have to memorize the vocabulary 100% to finish this stage, but then you go to stage 2 and take your second practice test and do the exact same super tedious, unsexy thing. Mark every question wrong, figure out why you got that question wrong with a language exchange partner or a tutor, and learn every word in each one of your wrong questions. So basically, you could do this. A lot of you probably stop watching because you're like, that sounds super crazy and hard. It's not that hard. If you do 1 test a week with like a 1-hour study ethic a day, you can do this. And in 8 weeks, let's say 9 weeks, because 1 week you partied, you will have done 8 HSK practice tests. You will have pretty much learned all the vocab that's on those quiz questions that you don't know. And you'll know the grammar points because you actually ask the Chinese person, why did you get it wrong? Because the HSK test has the answers, right? So when you check the answer, you're like, oh, it's this grammar, but not the one I chose. Why? And figure it out. The cool thing about the HSK is the vocabulary is limited for each test. So all of the practice tests still use the same vocabulary, or the vocab and grammar from the same grammar set and the same vocabulary set. So there's a fixed amount of grammar per level and a fixed amount of vocabulary per level. So you can just like hard charge it, so to speak, and do very well on the HSK. It's just hard work. It's just over preparing. There's no secret, really. Yeah, that's what I did. It will help you, Nicolo. Good luck. Go to sleep. Oh my gosh. Go to sleep. Rest. Just chill, rest your mind. If you want to come in again to the DIY Chinese Challenge, where basically the outcome of joining the DIY Chinese Challenge is you will learn from me the best ways to study on your own, the best strategies for studying on your own, how to make an effective self-study plan, one that you can follow like no matter what. And you'll do so in a community of people who are also self-studying Chinese with their own materials at various levels, but we all rotate through the same language skills together, and you will be able to make progress on your own, and you won't need to rely on another Chinese class to make progress because you will know how to study by yourself. That's what we do in the DIY Chinese Challenge. Link to that in the description below. You can apply to it and study with me. I like teaching Chinese. I'm certified to teach Chinese, but really what I do a lot better, if you haven't figured it out by now, is I teach language learning strategies way better. And I think if you watch my channel and you learn how to study Chinese on your own, I think that's better than me having helped you with specific grammar. It's sort of like that old adage, I forget, teach a man to fish instead of just giving him fish, so that he will never go hungry again. That's what I'm all about. Thank you for watching this video. I'm gonna get off the screen and go and work on business stuff and a little bit of Chinese and say hi to my kids. Take care. Thank you for watching. Please like and share and tap or click the screen right there for another video from my channel. I hope this finds you well, and reach out.